Aaron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
You done messed up, Aaron!
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Okay, guys, so one of my newest guilty pleasures is watching the content being put out by Scientology's new social media profiles. And it's not like the official Church of Scientology accounts that are doing it. These are accounts created by staff members at some of the local Scientology organizations in places like St. Paul, Minnesota, San Francisco, California. It does seem like the Twin Cities org and the San Francisco org have been some of the most enthusiastic, dedicated posters of content, answering questions about Scientology. This stuff is absolutely hilarious. Many of these accounts have already blocked me, even though I've never interacted with them in any way. I wanted to share with you guys the video that the guy from San Francisco did, answering the questions, do Scientologists believe in aliens? In looking for that video, I only found one that the guy from the Twin Cities org did. So we're going to start with the Twin Cities guy, and then we're going to go look at some of the funny videos that the guy from San Francisco has done, because these are absolutely amazing. The fact that Scientology can't just be honest about some of the lowest level beliefs of Scientology is truly blowing my mind. Okay, let's see how the guy from Twin Cities answers the question, do Scientologists believe in aliens? Keep in mind, the entire internet already knows that Scientology believes in aliens, but don't tell that to this guy. Okay, here we go.
Hey.
Yo.
What does Scientology think about aliens?
Aliens? Okay, good. So we get this question a lot in person and in the comments. But do you believe in aliens? In Scientology, we don't say anything about aliens. It's not part of our religious practice or our dogma. We are emphasizing the spiritual freedom of an individual and regained ability and improved condition in life. We don't talk about aliens. However, I've seen a few podcasts myself, not to name names, but like there's some good ones out there. And everyone's got their own opinion on aliens. And I think it's a very interesting topic because there's a lot of mystery around it. And so, whatever you believe or do or want to look into, you do that, you do you.
I like the whole vibe. Hey, I didn't see you there. Aliens. Come on, let's have a scene. Let's dig into this. Okay. He goes, it is not a part of our religious practice or dogma. We don't talk about aliens. Guys, if there's anything Scientologists and L. Ron Hubbard talk about more than literally anything else in Scientology, it's aliens. Okay, why? Because Scientology's basic belief that we are all immortal, godlike, spiritual beings that are 60 trillion years old means we are all aliens. There's no such thing as a non-alien. Scientology believes that everyone on Earth is an alien. I mean, none of us came from this planet. None of us. They don't even believe we came from this universe or this reality. So Scientology's beliefs, it's like a mix between the Matrix, where, they're basically living in a prison planet, except they're in the Matrix, they're living in a different type of prison. But the Matrix, where all of humanity is enslaved in a way, and Star Wars. Scientologists believe in literally life everywhere, on almost every planet, certainly around every star. You know how in Star Wars, no matter what planet they go to, there's life. That's basically what Scientologists believe. They believe we are alien, but also these bodies, Scientologists believe evolved. Scientologists do believe in essentially Darwinian natural selection for the biological body, but that we as spirits are not of Earth, and that the only reason we're on Earth is because Earth is being used as a prison planet by the leader of the Galactic Confederacy. And the people keeping us imprisoned here on Earth are the evil alien psychiatrists that are running the in-between lives implant station on the far side of the moon or Mars or Venus. Or L. Ron Hubbard wasn't incredibly specific about a lot of these things. And that every time one of our bodies die, right? We operate one body at a time, one lifetime at a time. When our body dies, as spirits, as spiritual beings who are being imprisoned on this planet, we've already been pre-programmed by our evil alien psychiatrist prison guards to report back spiritually, like spiritually teleport back to the between lives implant station when your body dies, where they wipe your memory and beam you back down to earth into a new baby body, a brand new body, to live a whole other lifetime with full amnesia of your previous life or all your previous lives. So literally what Scientology is trying to accomplish with its procedures is to bring you as a spiritual being up to a level of awareness and ability where you can skip the between lives implant station. You're still going to reincarnate into a new body, but you're going to grow up. You're going to live a new lifetime. You're going to live your next lifetime on earth, but you're going to have full total recall of your previous life and all the Scientology that you did, so that you'll be more capable to get other people into Scientology. And the goal is to get half of earth into Scientology. And somehow that's supposed to like tip the theta and theta ratio, and it's, you know, free all of the beings from earth so that we can go back and, I don't know, overthrow the rulers of the Galactic Confederacy. Like, Scientology is all about aliens. Okay. L. Ron Hubbard talks about aliens all the time, everywhere, in all the lower level, non-confidential parts of Scientology. There's another way that Scientology is about aliens, which is that in the lower levels of Scientology, most of the procedures are in some way, shape, or form designed to get rid of your reactive mind. And L. Ron Hubbard says that your reactive mind is the thing that's wrong. It's the only thing that's wrong with you. If it were not for your reactive mind, you would be a perfect computing, analyzing machine. Okay. Your reactive mind is the only thing that's wrong with you. And the reactive mind is a compilation of these recordings of all the moments of pain and unconsciousness that you've ever experienced, not only in this lifetime, but all your previous lifetimes. Once you get rid of your reactive mind, Scientology says you have achieved the state of clear. Okay, that's wonderful. But you're still nothing special. And L. Ron Hubbard's like, well, I'm going to tell you why there's nothing special about you yet. You've only gotten rid of your reactive mind, but you actually have hundreds of thousands of sick, diseased, disoriented, half, unconscious alien spirits stuck to your body. And they each have their own reactive mind. And they are projecting all of the negativity and problems and pain and neuroses and psychoses and illnesses and cancers and everything. They're projecting all of the stuff from their reactive minds onto your body and onto you. You have to telepathically communicate with those alien beings to get rid of their reactive minds so that they will leave your body and go and pick up their own body. I cannot stress this enough. Scientology is all about aliens. And this guy's like, aliens are not a part of our religious practice or our dogma. We don't talk about aliens, except for when we're talking about them all the time. All right. This was the biggest. This should have been a layup for Scientology. It should have been, do you guys believe in aliens? The answer should have been, yeah, of course. Who doesn't? If you don't, you're crazy. I mean, come on now, guys. You got to make yourself seem interesting if you have any hope of recruiting new members. Scientology is, it's basically impossible for Scientology to recruit any new members these days. Okay. Let's jump over to San Francisco, where I present to you, unfortunately, the most deeply closeted gay man currently in Scientology. Normally, we would say that that's John Travolta, but let's be real, guys. Is John Travolta even in the closet anymore? I don't think so. Okay, so I just want to show you how Scientology goes about answering these questions. This stuff is so much. This is Scientology's Pretty Little Lies. I should call this video Scientology's Pretty Little Lies. They just honestly can't be honest about any single part of Scientology. Okay, let's see. Is there any way to go full screen on this? I can't really figure it out. So that's all right. We'll just do it this way. Here we go.
Do you need to sign a billion-year contract to be a Scientologist? It's amazing how often I get asked this question. The answer is no. You don't have to sign a billion-year contract to be a Scientologist. So in Scientology, the upper management of Scientology, there is an organization called the Sea Organization. And it's called the Sea Organization because it actually started out on a ship at sea with L. Ron Hubbard in the late 60s, and the name and the tradition of that has always just stuck. So to this day, they refer to themselves as the Sea Organization. In the Sea Organization, you think about it as a ministry, right? These are people.
Guys, check it out. Watching this video is why I really wanted to show this to you, because the truth is everything he said so far is accurate. You don't have to sign a billion-year contract to take a Scientology course, and no one has ever thought or said otherwise. It's just one of these straw man arguments that they use to do videos. Notice how he says think he's I'm going to rewind it so you see his exact words. He's kind of like you can sort of think of it like a ministry. That's an interesting choice of words, isn't it? Because because what he should be saying, if he wanted to be consistent with what the Church of Scientology represents in courts of law, it shouldn't be like a ministry. It should literally be the ministry. Okay. The Sea Organization is legally, other than the fact that the Sea Organization doesn't actually exist, there is no such thing as a Sea Organization. It's not an entity. It's not a corporation. It's not a membership organization. Legally speaking, there is no such thing as the Sea Org. You guys know that? It's actually true. But the only way to explain the Sea Org and the only way for the Sea Org to make sense is for it to literally be the priest class, the ministry class of Scientology. But the thing is, if Scientology were to actually say that all Sea Org members were part of Scientology's priesthood, then all of a sudden that creates some legal complications for them, because ministers are mandated reporters under California's Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting Act. And so Scientology, in some cases, wants to act like the Sea Org is the ministry, but they can't literally say it's the ministry, because all of a sudden they become mandated reporters for child abuse and child neglect. And that's a huge problem for Scientology. So anyway, let's go back. Take a listen to part of this one more time.
Tradition of that has always just stuck. So to this day, they refer to themselves as the Sea Organization. In the Sea Organization, you think about it as a ministry, right? These are people that have dedicated their lives to Scientology. So if you were to become a monk or become a priest, think like, you would be dedicating your entire lifetime to that religious cause. And
okay, good. Anyway, it's again, I know I made a point. It's just every time I hear it, he can't help but actually be honest, because the Scientologists don't actually think of Sea Org members as a ministry. They think of the Sea Org members as like the galactic special forces operators, right? He says, think of it as a ministry, when he really should, for public relations purposes, say it is the minister, the clergy class of Scientology. All right, let's keep going.
And there is a symbolic religious pledge that they take. And this actually wasn't created by L. Ron Hubbard. The original Sea Org members came up with this idea of a billion-year religious pledge that was symbolic for them dedicating their lifetime to the aims of Scientology.
I got to jump in right there. I love it when Scientology tries to put some sort of a weird arm's length or, sort of arm's length relationship between it and some of its things. So like, I've heard this said all the time. L. Ron Hubbard didn't even come up with the idea originally for a billion-year contract. Some of the original members, Sea Org members, came up with the idea. And you kind of go, what's your point? Are you like, and if it's crazy, it wasn't even L. Ron Hubbard's idea. And you're like, L. Ron Hubbard was the guy in charge, right? Okay, he did make all the final decisions, right? Okay, so even in your version of the events, the Sea Org members gave this as an idea to L. Ron Hubbard, and then L. Ron Hubbard said, great, let's do that, right? What is the reason why Scientology does this thing? They do this with Narconon as well. No. Is it Narconon or Criminon? Is it Narconon or Narconon? They do this with the Narconon as well. Narconon wasn't even Scientology's idea. There was this guy who wasn't even a Scientologist. He was using Scientology principles, and he's like, I got an idea. Why don't we create a Narconon? Was it Narconon or Criminon? It is Narconon. No, I know it's Narconon. Scientology does one of these things of, it wasn't even L. Ron Hubbard's idea. Scientology is not in the habit of giving other people credit for ideas. Like L. Ron Hubbard is like the only source of anything in Scientology. And yet for Narconon and for the billion-year contract, they're like, someone else came up with that idea. Okay, he's almost done. Let's see what he's got.
So to set the record straight, you don't have to sign a billion-year contract to take a course, to use Scientology, or to be a Scientologist. I'm personally not on a billion-year religious pledge.
No, he's not. He's on a 5-year contract. And we know that because he wears his little FEBC flag training pin, which means he just finished his full-time executive training at the Flag Land Base under David Miscavige. And when you finish those types of training programs, when you go home, you have 5 years of service to complete, or else you owe Scientology an awful lot of money, folks. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this I like this one too. I like this one too. So there are approximately 134 Scientology organizations in the entire world. Those are called Class 5 organizations. Those are the main line Scientology business organizations. They're operated, run, controlled, owned, managed by the mother church, Church of Scientology International. They're open 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that is where people are supposed to get into Scientology. I cannot stress this enough. There are only 134 Scientology organizations in the entire world. Half of the states in the USA don't even have a single Scientology organization. Scientology claims there are more than 11,000 organizations. How do they do this? They do this by using the following phrase. Let's check in with our boy right here. Here it is. Oh.
Is a Scientology are there? So how many churches of Scientology are there? Well, across the whole planet, there's more than 11,000 churches, missions, and groups that span 184 nations.
Okay, so that's how they do it. They lump in churches. Churches means Class 5 org. Churches, missions, and groups. Now, a mission is like a Scientology organization light. And what they're privately owned and operated. They are not owned and operated by the mother church. They are privately owned and operated by Scientologists. They are not allowed to train Scientology auditors. They're not open 7 days a week. And there's honestly only a few dozen of them that are worth even mentioning in the entire world. Okay. They say 11,000 churches, missions, and groups. Do you want to know why they say groups? Because even in Scientology, there is no record or count of what is called or considered a group. Any Scientologist, literally any individual Scientologist, can be like, I open up a Dianetics group. And you're like, okay, where's the group? You're like, well, the group's just me. And you're like, well, where are you guys located out of? We don't have an official location. Okay, but you opened a group? Yes. Okay, good. We're going to count you as a group. And that, the explanation I just gave actually implies that Scientology keeps count. They don't keep count. There's no count. There is absolutely no count of anything in Scientology that's even called a group. And I know this from having spent, by the time I left Scientology at the age of 34, I spent half my life working for Scientology as a staff member and a Sea Org member. There is no one in the entire organization who has a statistic or a count or a list of anything called groups. I promise you. Scientology also just randomly makes up membership numbers. Scientology will claim they have 10 to 15 million members worldwide. It's closer to 25,000 members in the entire world. Okay, let's see what else our buddy has to say.
And I'm standing in the Church of Scientology, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And our churches are open to the community. If you want to come by and get a tour and learn about Scientology, meet the staff, check it out, read some of our books, you're more than welcome to come in and see our buildings. And right here, you can see all the various churches of Scientology we have all over the planet, like Dublin, Hamburg, Rome. There's also lots of videos that take you through FLAG, which is our spiritual headquarters in Clearwater, Florida. You can also get a virtual tour of our ship, our religious retreat called the Free Winds, which travels around the Caribbean, delivering religious services to Scientologists from all over the globe.
All right, super interesting. For you ex-Scientologists out there, have you ever asked yourself why they call FLAG the spiritual headquarters when the ship is actually the highest level organization in the world? I think it's because the ship didn't exist when L. Ron Hubbard was around. And when L. Ron Hubbard was around, FLAG was, you could call it the spiritual headquarters. I mean, when L. Ron Hubbard was around, FLAG was literally the international management headquarters as well. But so after FLAG moved onshore to Clearwater, Florida, FLAG management went to LA. The FLAG, service organization stayed in Clearwater. But have you ever noticed how it's actually quite inconsistent for Scientology to this day continue to call FLAG the spiritual headquarters when it's not even the highest point on the bridge? Anyway, I obviously understand why they do it. There's other reasons why they do it, but it is silly, right? Okay, let's take a look at the next chapter of Scientology's Pretty Little Lies, starring our deeply closeted gay staff member out of the San Francisco organization. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just wish he could live life being as his true self. Here we go. Hold on, let me check the volume. Okay.
Can you be a Christian and use Scientology? The answer is yes. So in Scientology,
guys, do you notice how he he said, can you be a Christian and use Scientology? Yeah, of course. I mean, Scientology considers that even using a dictionary to look up the definition of a word is using Scientology. Scientology thinks that, being, using affinity, reality, and communication in a conversation is using Scientology. I thought it was interesting that he didn't say, can you be can you be a Christian and be a Scientologist? Let's see how else he tries to explain this.
There's something. Can you be a Christian and use Scientology? The answer is yes. So in Scientology, there's something called the 8 dynamics. And these are the 8 sectors of life that any person is trying to survive in, trying to do well in. The first is survival as yourself, as an individual. The second is survival as a family unit. The third is survival as a group or a community. The fourth is mankind, your urge to survive as a member of the human race. The fifth is life forms like plants, animals. And the sixth is the physical universe, like your stuff, your clothing, your car. The seventh is the spiritual dynamic. This is your urge to survive spiritually as a spiritual being. And the 8th dynamic is your urge to survive through God or towards the infinity. In Scientology, we acknowledge the existence of a creator, of a supreme being, but we don't really define it further than that. Scientology is not really a subject about the 8th dynamic. Scientology focuses on the 7th dynamic, you as a spiritual being. Scientology is not a belief system. It's not faith-based. It's not something that ever is going to ask you to give up your faith or belief in God or tell you what to think about God. And really, if you study Scientology, you would be hard-pressed to find anything in it that really conflicts with Christianity or religion in general. Scientology is open to all religions and all creeds and all people.
Whoa. All right. Now, at least in this video, he did not go so far as to say you can be a Christian and be a Scientologist at the same time. He didn't actually use those words. But guys, you'd be hard-pressed to study all of Scientology and find anything that conflicts with Christianity. Oh, I don't know. How about what we already discussed about, the Galactic Confederacy and this being a prison planet, and you realize that Christians believe that life only exists on planet Earth, right? So you cannot believe that, the evil alien psychiatrists helped Xenu, call half the population in for tax audits on the planets of the Galactic Confederacy and then froze them and then transported them to Earth and dropped them in volcanoes and then blew them up with hydrogen bombs. And then the beings are blowing around in, the winds on Earth. And then hundreds of thousands of the beings attached to our body. And you have to telepathically communicate with them to get rid of their reactive minds so that they will leave your body and then pick up another body. And that we all come back to Earth lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And we need to free everything in Scientology is inconsistent with Christianity. Actually, everything. It is actually impossible to be a Christian and be a Scientologist. Now, he also lies. He says we acknowledge the existence of a creator. That's actually false. It's one specifically false statement that he said there. They acknowledge that people on Earth believe in a creator. The fact that Scientology doesn't acknowledge the existence of a creator or a supreme being is why they also call the 8th dynamic the infinity dynamic. It has 2 names. You can either call it the God dynamic or you can call it the infinity dynamic. It's called the infinity dynamic because doesn't require a belief in God. So when he says we acknowledge the existence of a creator, that's false. The only way it could be interpreted as true is Scientology says that we are all collectively as individual spiritual beings, the creator. We all took part in the creation. Now, not the creation of Earth, the creation of ourselves, that we collectively, he doesn't get into a ton of detail about this, but that we collectively just one day about 60 some trillion years ago decided to exist. And then eventually we collectively decided to create the physical universe. And anyway, it's actually completely inconsistent with a belief in a supreme being. Scientology tells you that you are a supreme being, that we are all equally, infinitely powerful and immortal. So whatever it is that someone might normally think of as God, Scientology thinks that of you. and like quite literally. So anyway, there you have it. Okay, last video from our deeply closeted Scientology staff member in San Francisco. He wants to talk about God again. Okay, so check this out. Let's see what he has to say about God. Oh, let's get some sound.
Does Scientology talk about God? Well, here's a quote from L. Ron Hubbard on God. No culture in the history of the world, save the thoroughly depraved and expiring ones, has failed to affirm the existence of a supreme being. It is an empirical observation that men without a strong and lasting faith in a supreme being are less capable, less ethical, and less valuable to themselves and society. A man without an abiding faith is, by observation alone, more of a thing than a man. So yes, in Scientology, we do believe in God. However, we don't tell you how to worship, what to think about it, but we do acknowledge the existence of a supreme being. And we do believe that a concept of God is essential to an ethical life and a spiritual existence. Does Scientology...
Interesting, right? He reads a quote from L. Ron Hubbard that speaks positively about cultures that believe in a supreme being, but doesn't say one word whatsoever about whether Scientology believes in a supreme being. Isn't that interesting? This is one of the reasons L. Ron Hubbard did stuff like this, is because he tries, and this is why Scientologists can't help themselves today, but to misrepresent and lie about every aspect of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard was always trying to get Scientology accepted in various quarters by constantly pretending it was something other than what it was. It's the one thing. It's the one like Scientology's Achilles heel. They're incapable of being honest about what it is that they believe. And so when I'm here saying things like they don't even believe in a supreme being, it's not like I'm saying that they should or could, or they'd be better if they did. It's just that they won't be honest about the fact that they don't. Like it's the hypocrisy. That's the real crime. Okay, guys, that is it for me on this. It's time to go watch some World Series, folks. I know we live in Clearwater, Florida, but did you guys know the Toronto Blue Jays do their spring training here in Clearwater? Actually, just the town to the north of Dunedin. So I think it's time to go up to Dunedin and watch some World Series. I'm rooting for the Dodgers, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big Shohei Ohtani fan. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Much more to come tomorrow. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,